Hello and good evening, and thank you for being here. We're super excited. We've got a lot to get to. We're going to talk about these temperatures, these record-breaking temperatures, which led to a little internal conversation here in studio. What do you put your thermostat on? Okay, so go ahead, put it in the comments. Let us know. You know, this topic is a little bit more divisive than you would think. At least that's what happened here at Channel 13.
It was. And
Right?
we think there's, you know, married couples and or roommates. It's not as easy as just saying we're going to agree on a certain temperature.
Oh, that is the number one thing that we argue about right after what are we going to eat for dinner.
The temperature.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What are we going to eat and then the temperature? But we'll get to that in just a second, okay? Let's start off. We broke some records today with all this heat.
Yes, the temperature this morning, 77 degrees. And that's a new record low high, if that makes sense.
Record low high.
Right.
I
So-
see what you're doing there.
Yeah, so it was the warmest low we've ever had on this date, and 77, and that's going to stand because we're still at 90.
Lord.
It's 10 o'clock,
Lord.
and we have 90 degrees in Indianapolis. High officially was 99, and we're going to talk just about how long it's been since we've been this hot. We're going to have that for you coming up at 11. But here's another map. Still feels like 102 in Shelbyville. Still feels like 100 in Kokomo, still feels like 97 in Indianapolis, and still feels like close to 100 in Terre Haute. Terre Haute is one area that did hit 100 today. The other was Lafayette this afternoon. We could use a little bit of rain, but unfortunately the storm track right now is across the northeastern part of the state, and that's unfortunate for a couple of reasons. We need the rain desperately. The northeastern part of the state needed the rain as well, but when you get rain going over the same areas over and over and over and over again, flooding becomes an issue, and that's the flashing green box you see up toward the Fort Wayne area. They had 3 to 5 inches of rain with a complex of storms this morning, and they're getting another complex right now, and you can see the majority of these storms are going up and over the heat. These storms are kind of riding the edge of the heat. Makes them very difficult to time until they develop, and makes them very difficult to track because sometimes when they run into the heat, they just fall apart. What gives us a little bit of hope is what you see moving across the central sections of Iowa. If that would hold together, that brings us a rain chance, say, between 3 a.m. and 8 a.m. So fingers crossed we get some rain. Maybe not the severe component. They've been under the threat for severe weather out to our west most of the afternoon and evening, with damaging winds being one of the bigger threats. Next couple of hours, still thinking it's northeast. Here comes what's left of that complex that's in Iowa now, again, between 3 a.m. and 8 a.m. So we will see how this holds together. Any storms that do develop will have the potential for heavy rain, lightning, and some damaging wind gusts.
Okay, well, we don't want the severe storms, but
No.
usually, you know, we're hoping for sunny skies, but guys, we need the rain.
We need the rain, and that's the other component that we'll have for you at 11, just how long it's been since we've been this hot and how dry we are over the last 5-6 weeks.
Yeah, I'm thinking of my landscaping, but also all of our folk out there in the more rural communities who are working the land. We need some rain.
We need the rain, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so our big question today with this record-setting heat that really caused a stir here in our newsroom was, where do you set your thermostat at, okay? What temperature do you put it on? I think you'll be shocked at some of the answers you hear. I know we were. So go ahead, jump in the comments. Let us know where you're messaging from, what city, what town you're representing, and then, of course, give us the little deets, okay? You'd be surprised.
Dustin was 68.
Oh,
68. I know, that face.
because you think that's too cold,
That's
right?
way too cold and
No,
way
I
too
know.
expensive.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
Yeah.
Very cold, very expensive. Although I guess he saves money in the wintertime.
Yes, but I'd be curious. We forgot to ask him if that's what he keeps it at in the winter as well. Is he 68 across the board?
Yeah. I think he wants to, and his wife won't let him.
No, his wife's like 73, 4,
Right.
5, something like that.
I have
right.
a girlfriend that keeps it hot. She keeps it hot like 75.
Oh.
And I'm like, girl, your bill must be out of control.
Even in the winter?
In
In the winter
she does.
especially, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah,
it's
gas is
easier in
very
the summer.
expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's hot. So again, causing quite a stir here. So jump in those comments. What is the perfect thermostat temp? But let's get to Emily Longnecker. It's been a little minute since I've seen you, Lady
Yeah,
Love.
hello. What do I keep
Yeah.
it at? Oh, about 72.
Oh.
72 in the
Always?
summer, and probably about 70 in the winter. I try and bring it down a little bit in the winter and put some sweaters on. But I like it a little warmer. I do well when it's warmer.
I could say
Not out here tonight. I almost melted coming into the studio today. I stepped outside and it was hard to breathe. It was so hot.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
Don't they recommend 70, 71? I feel like gas companies say to keep it right in there, like 72 is on the high end, but right in that range, I think they recommend 69 to 71.
I do
maybe.
just what feels good. And
And
feels
you
good
can
about
close
70.
your blinds if you get afternoon sun.
Right.
Close the blinds, close the curtains, do things like that to help out, just to keep the sun out and keep the house somewhat cooler by doing things like that. But we are for the most part 73-ish during the day, and then high 60s to sleep.
Okay.
So we do bring it down and bring it back up.
sleep?
I don't know.
You gotta sleep. You gotta be cool to sleep.
See, I don't. I
really?
like, yes, I like it just a little bit warm.
Oh,
I swear, I'm
no.
telling you,
I gotta wrap
I
up
don't like, no. I mean,
in
I
that
still
blanket.
wrap up under, but I still, I mean.
You don't get hot?
No.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
And in the winter, we do like 66, 68.
You see, look how long we're talking about this.
Yes.
Right, 'cause it's a topic.
It
It's
gets
for topic.
interesting. We're going to read your comments, so go ahead and chime in because I'm seeing some interesting numbers here. But let's get to Emily's story first because I think it's really interesting and provides another perspective to this abortion conversation that we've been having.
It certainly does. Right. So talk to a family tonight from Paoli, a little 10-year-old, Nora. She has been dealing with chronic pain for the past 2 years, and they recently discovered that she has an autoimmune disease, basically an inflammatory disease that attacks her bones and makes her bones swell.
Wow.
And they can swell so bad that they could actually burst and splinter. And this situation, it's attacking her ribs. Okay, so they recently got this diagnosis after 2 years of chronic pain of thinking it was this or that or scoliosis.
I've never heard of this.
Right, so it starts with that. So then they recommended this drug called methotrexate, and it has been helping her. It has reduced the inflammation. The inflammation, though, so bad that doctors told her you can't ride your bike, you can't run, you can't jump because your bones could basically shatter. So turns out methotrexate, though, is also used in cases of ectopic pregnancies. When there is a pregnancy outside the uterus and it's not viable, doctors will give this to someone to eliminate the pregnancy, to end the pregnancy, okay, an ectopic pregnancy. Okay. So what they're seeing, though, in a lot of states that have already banned abortion with the trigger laws, is that pharmacists are afraid to prescribe this methotrexate to people for rheumatoid arthritis or this disease like this young girl has, because at least to women that could be of the age of childbearing age. So this is being discussed on all these support groups for people with these inflammatory diseases. So this mother, this child, I mean, they're worried. We haven't decided yet, lawmakers have not decided yet what's going to happen in Indiana, but this mom wants to know, hey, is my child going to have access to this methotrexate drug, which has helped her, because there's been issues in some other states. So this is her big concern, and this little girl, we talked to her tonight, and it's been a long road for her these past 2 years dealing with this chronic pain, and now finally they have the answer, or what has been the answer at least for a little while, and now they're concerned that it's going to be taken away from them. So
we're going to hear more at 11 about that. I think it's just great providing another perspective, because anyone would want is to not be in pain, and any mom, of course, wants to do whatever she can to make sure her baby is okay.
Yeah, she said she talked about how hard it is to watch your child in chronic pain and just crying all the time and basically having a hard time breathing because it's in her ribs, and so really put a face with the issue of chronic pain and inflammatory diseases. And this drug is used to treat lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, this condition, lots of things, right? So there is the concern that will this drug go away, or will people, doctors and pharmacists, stop giving it to women of childbearing age? So
the more you know, something to be aware of that certainly adds another layer to this abortion conversation. We are going to hear more about that coming up at 11 o'clock tonight. Emily Longnecker bringing us that story. But let's get back to something that's really affecting everyone right now in central Indiana, the heat that we've been talking about. Okay, so we're going to read some of your comments, but let me just tell you this, because we did run a story earlier, and the question was, is it better to dial back your thermostat or not? Well, the energy department is saying that it is good. So when you're away from home, like when you go to work, should you turn it down or turn it up to regulate it better, or when you're going out of town? Well, the energy department says that dialing back 7 to 10 degrees for 8 hours a day can save you up to 10% a year.
Oh, so you
So that's
can do
just
that
going
big
with
of a
work.
chunk.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yep, 7 to 10 degrees, they're saying.
lot.
I mean, that's what they said.
Okay.
I believe
didn't say it. That's
I
what they
believe them.
said.
Right.
But 7 to 10 degrees, 8 hours a day, and then of course when you go on vacation, that's even more time. So it makes sense if you're going to be away for 3, 4, 5 days, maybe more. You might want to regulate it a little bit more to the temperature outside. The closer you get can save you more.
Okay.
We had one viewer that completely agreed with you. She's 73 degrees all year long.
Yeah.
And then who was that? That was Mindy. And then we had Karen that said 78 in the summer. She's saving big money if she's keeping
Oh,
it at
yes, she
78.
is. Yes, she is. She must have a fan. She must have one of those big giant fans that just goes around and moves the room around. Kelly says 68. She likes it cool too. Sharon noting that we really do need the rain. She sets
we
hers
do.
on 74. We got a 71 from Teresa Shelton, 74 from Christopher Johnson from Westfield. Sounds a little warm, but okay, it's your house. Glenn Wright, Indianapolis, 90. Oh, you must be talking about the temperature outside, because I definitely hope that's not the temperature
I know.
inside the house. Hey, Renee, she said summer 63, winter 69. Yeah, I guess you got to put on some sweaters and save a bill.
Yeah. That 63 seems chilly.
Yeah, that's a little bit much.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I got my electric bill. I'm not putting it any lower.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I hear you on that. Hey, you guys, keep the conversation going. We certainly appreciate it. Teresa, Amy, Peg, Glenn, Teresa, Rachel. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Elizabeth, Kim, all the folks are here.
In your
All
story,
right.
getting a lot of conversation as well.
I'm
a
sure.
lot of comments
I'm sure.
on people that take it, people that know of it, and so that's great. We're looking
Yeah,
forward
I
to
had
the
never
11th.
heard, I mean, I've heard of rheumatoid arthritis, lupus. I had never heard of this young woman's condition, and I guess it's pretty rare. And where it is, where it's affecting her body, it's a pretty rare situation. But I can't imagine being 10 and not being able to ride my bike, right? I mean, she was talking about, that's 10. That's what you do at 10. You go ride your bike. So,
Well, thank you for bringing her story and giving a voice to some of those people who might fall in the minority category, but are still greatly impacted and deserve to be seen and heard. Okay, one more check of the weather before we go, so we know when we can get out of this heat wave, and if I could turn the water sprinklers off.
Oh, I know. And lots of comments too about rain. Are we going to get any? So let's kind of back up and talk about where the rain has been today. And I kind of feel that once we have a storm track in place, that's the easiest place for additional storms to go. We see that often. And unfortunately, the storm track has been to our north for a couple of reasons. We're not getting the rain, and Fort Wayne area getting way too much rain, and they are dealing with flooding at this hour. The next complex that brings us the chance for some rain is what's developing in Iowa. I think the majority of what you see in northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin goes up and over us, follows that same storm track into Fort Wayne and then into western Ohio. Our chance comes with what's in Iowa. Had a question, are we going to get the 70-mile-per-hour winds? They have been dealing with some big-time wind gusts across parts of South Dakota, Nebraska, into Iowa. Thinking is that weakens here, but we are under the risk for severe weather, so any storm that does develop has the potential for some damaging winds.
Okay, stand
So keep
by.
your fingers crossed that that does actually hold together. The timeline would be 3 to 8 a.m.
Okay, stand by. Also, this is another PSA to download our weather app, our WTHR weather app. It's free, and of course, you can keep Angela in your back pocket.
there you go.
Who wouldn't want that?
There you go.
You're sweet.
Okay, and then Fulton, he commented, he said he has a birthday coming up, July 20th. Now, you're a few days early, Fulton.
That's
but
all right.
We'll celebrate today and all the way up until then.
Celebrate all month for you, Fulton. He's going to be 23.
There you go.
23. Hey, you guys, thanks so much for joining us, for making our night. We'll see you at 11 o'clock, okay? Don't be late.